Did you hear what just happened on live TV? Kelly Ripa's perfect marriage just got hit with a bombshell. A shocking revelation was seemingly exposed on air that has everyone talking. You won't believe what was revealed about her private life. Stop what you're doing. Kelly Ripa's biggest marital secret just went public, live on television. This wasn't supposed to happen, and the internet is absolutely losing its mind. Get ready for an unexpected and deeply personal glimpse into a world that will leave you stunned. Imagine a secret so big, it accidentally slips out live on national television. That's exactly what just happened with Kelly Ripa's marriage. A seemingly innocent moment turned into a surprising expose about her personal life. You have to see how this secret came to light and what it means for her. The studio of Live with Kelly and Mark is a temple of morning ritual. For millions, it is a constant in a chaotic world, a daily dose of witty banter, celebrity interviews, and the unique, palpable chemistry of a married couple who have built an empire on the foundation of their shared life. The set is a symphony of warm colors and softer lights, designed to feel like an extension of the viewer's own living room. On this particular Tuesday, the atmosphere was, as ever, meticulously cheerful. The air hummed with the low thrum of pre-show anticipation, the rustle of cue cards, and the faint, sweet scent of coffee from the green room. Kelly Ripa, a whirlwind of effervescence encased in a stunning fuchsia dress, was the engine of the room. At 52, she was a testament to vibrant health and relentless energy. A woman who had seamlessly transitioned from soap opera starlet to daytime television royalty. Her laugh, a familiar, melodic sound that had greeted sunrise in countless homes for over 2 decades, was already bouncing off the walls during the pre-show banter with the crew. To her right, Mark Consuelos, 52, her husband, partner, and now co-host, observed her with a look that blended amusement, pride, and a deep, abiding sense of wonder. After 27 years of marriage, watching Kelly command a room still filled them with a quiet awe. They were the picture of a perfect partnership, both on and off screen. Their dynamic was the show's cornerstone. Kelly, the effervescent, quick-witted firecracker, and Mark, the steady, grounding force. His dry humor and soulful eyes provided the perfect counterbalance. They were more than co-hosts. They were a unit understood by the shorthand of a shared life, 3 children, and countless battles fought side by side in the private trenches of their world. The show began as it always did, with the soaring, familiar theme music and the thunderous applause of an audience thrilled to be in the presence of this beloved duo. The first segment flew by, light, effortless, and filled with the easy rapport that had become their trademark. They were now in the midst of a discussion about summer vacation horrors, a topic ripe for comedic exploitation. Kelly was in the middle of a story, her hands painting pictures in the air. So I turn to Mark and I say, if you pack one more pair of sneakers, I'm going to have to leave our son Joaquin at the airport as excess baggage. The audience roared. Mark played his part perfectly, shrugging with mock indignation. You never know when you'll need cross-trainers. A sudden, urgent need to do lunges on the beach could arise. More laughter. It was classic Live, a perfectly choreographed dance of humor and heart. But in the midst of this practiced rhythm, the music faltered. For Mark, it was a shift so subtle it was almost subliminal. He saw the briefest flicker in Kelly's eyes, a momentary dimming of their brilliant, laser-focused light. Her smile, which had been genuine and wide, tightened at the edges, becoming a performer's mask. She paused for a beat too long after her next line. The audience, still buoyed by the previous joke, noticed nothing, but Mark's entire being went on high alert. He had spent nearly 3 decades learning the intricate map of her expressions. He knew the meaning behind every micro-expression, the subtle language of her body. This was the look of someone trying to power through a sudden internal storm. "Kelly," he said, his voice low, a private question meant only for her ears. She didn't acknowledge him. The world was beginning to warp around her. The studio lights, usually a warm embrace, became aggressive, searing spears of white heat drilling into her temples. The collective sound of the audience's breathing and rustling clothes transformed into a deafening, high-pitched roar in our ears. The teleprompter's scrolling text, once a guide, became a blur of indecipherable symbols. She felt a wave of intense vertigo, as if the solid floor beneath her was turning to liquid. She lifted her hand, attempting to disguise the gesture as a thoughtful touch to her forehead, but the true purpose was to steady a world that was violently tilting. I just think you should always, she continued, her voice losing its melodic timbre, becoming thin, reedy, and distant. You should always pack your patience. The sentence was a non sequitur. The rhythm was broken. The professional facade was cracking under the weight of a physiological rebellion. Kelly! Mark's voice was sharper now, a blade of fear slicing through the studio's artificial warmth. He was already leaning forward, his body tensing to move, his protective instincts overriding everything else. Then it happened. A collective, sharp intake of breath from the audience, a sound of pure, unadulterated shock. It was not a dramatic flailing collapse, it was a horrifying, graceful surrender. One moment, Kelly Ripa was a vibrant, talking, gesticulating presence. The next, her body simply gave up. She listed slowly, almost gently, to her left, sliding silently from the chic, modern chair and disappearing behind the solid bulk of the anchor desk. The splash of fuchsia vanished from view, leaving an empty chair that seemed to scream her absence. For the home audience, it was a moment of profound confusion. The camera, fixed on the two hosts, suddenly showed only Mark's horrified face and an empty space. The audio captured the gasp, the thud, the ensuing chaos. It was a rupture in the fabric of their morning routine, a terrifying intrusion of raw, unfiltered reality into their world of curated comfort. For Mark Consuelos, the world did not just shift, it shattered. The space where his wife had been sitting was now a void, a black hole that threatened to consume everything he knew. The sound of her body hitting the floor was the most terrifying sound he had ever heard, a dull, final, and utterly wrong thud that would be seared into his memory. Kelly! His cry was not a word, it was a visceral eruption, a raw, guttural sound torn from the deepest, most primal part of his soul. There was no camera, no audience, no career. There was only the terrifying emptiness behind that desk. He moved with the speed he didn't know he possessed. He didn't stand up. He launched himself from his chair, a man propelled by sheer terror. He fell to his knees on the hard studio floor, the impact a dull echo of the one that had just felled his life. His hands, usually so steady and strong, trembled uncontrollably as he reached for her. Kelly, baby, can you hear me? Look at me. He cradled her head, his fingers threading through her blonde hair, now splayed against the cold, unyielding laminate. Her skin was alarmingly pale, her face a beautiful, still mask. Her eyes were closed, the famous sparkle completely extinguished. Somebody call a doctor. Now, for God's sakes, now! He roared, his voice cracking with a desperation that filled the studio. It was the voice of a man watching his entire world dissolve. He leaned down, his cheek close to her lips, praying to feel the whisper of her breath, the faintest proof of life. Please, Kelly, please breathe, he whispered, his words a private prayer against her skin. He could smell her perfume, the familiar, expensive scent that was so intrinsically her, and the contrast between that familiar aroma and her lifeless form was a new layer of torture. He fumbled for the pulse in her neck, his own heart hammering so violently in his ears that he couldn't feel anything else. A cold, paralyzing dread, colder than the floor beneath his knees, began to freeze the blood in his veins. This isn't happening. This is a dream, a terrible, terrible dream. She's fine. She has to be fine. His mind became a chaotic slideshow of their life together, a frantic, desperate reel of memories. He saw her in 1995 on the set of All My Children. She was playing Haley Valian, a character as fiery and complex as the actress herself. He was the new guy, Mateo Santos, and she had been assigned to show him around. She was intimidating, smart, fiercely funny, and completely unimpressed by his handsome face. He was smitten, not in spite of her sharp edges, but because of them. He saw her the day they got married in a secret, spontaneous ceremony. She was wearing a simple, short dress, her face glowing with a happiness that was just for them, away from the glare of the public eye. He remembered the weight of her hands in his, the unshakable certainty in his soul that this was it. This was forever. He saw her in a hospital bed, exhausted and ethereal, holding their newborn son Michael. The room was filled with a love so profound it felt like a physical force. He had made a silent vow to that tiny new family. I will protect you. I will always be your safe harbor. He saw her just hours ago, in the soft light of their kitchen. She'd been scrolling through her phone, a slight frown on her face. I had the weirdest dizzy spell when I got out of the shower, she murmured. Just for a second. Gone now. He handed her a bottle of water. Drink this, you're probably just dehydrated from yesterday's workout. She took a sip, smiled, and kissed him. Love you. See you on set. The memory was a knife to his heart. Why hadn't he, her protector, her partner, insisted...